Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's live storm coverage here. We're looking at a level 2 out of 5 severe risk for Monday. So this is what we're going to be talking about here today. As you can see, I've got a model looping here. This is the NAM 12-kilometer model run. We are looking at timing here for severe weather on Monday. Overall, the storm ingredients are going to be here in place, but overall, looking like timing is going to be our enemy here when it comes to severe weather. So, or actually in our favor here. So, looking to be a little bit later now. Models are trending a little bit later than what they were over the past few days here, but this is kind of pushed back in time a little bit since, say Monday or Tuesday, where it was showing us getting storms, later, a little earlier in the afternoon. So now this has kind of pushed out into the early evening. Its front has really slowed down slightly as it's been coming and working across the United States, according to these models here. So looking at timing here we are out at 11 a.m. on Monday. Storms still out here into the Nashville area and working through Tennessee, portions of Mississippi, Alabama as well at 11 a.m. on Monday. And then eventually, not storms not starting to really get into the South Carolina area until around 5 p.m. where you can see we've got some rain out here. This is much needed rain for these wildfires out here in western North Carolina, as well as Greenville area of South Carolina as well. So looking to be, according to this model here, this one model run, some pretty decent rainfall, but it doesn't last for a long time. So that's the downside to these frontal systems that come through. We can get a lot of rain, but in a very short amount of time. What we need is a good soaking rain that lasts, at least a day or two or more here for these wildfires, especially even here in Myrtle Beach, as the smoke's been a nightmare here for a long time. It's been almost a month now that this wind and smoke has been driving us nuts here. So we really could use some rain from this, but this system here, this frontal line, I'm going to be honest with you, not a whole lot of rain coming from this, and we'll look at some rain totals here in a little bit. But moving as far as timing goes, here we're out at 8 p.m. That line is still just around the Columbia, west of Florence area. So maybe some rain starting to get into the Florence area as well at that point, but still very, very late in the evening before we start seeing any kind of impacts of this along the Grand Strand here. Here we are out at 2 a.m. And we've got those showers and storms working their way into the Myrtle Beach area at that time. We can jump over here. This is the only high resolution model that I do have. We could take a look at what the GFS wants to show for us moving in towards the Monday time frame. So we'll bump this out. We're going to have some scattered showers in the area tomorrow as well. That, again, looks to be a little bit later than what we were looking at earlier in the week. So if you have plans for tomorrow, overall going to be pretty decent until after around 2 p.m. So between 2 and 11 p.m., we're looking at those showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two possible for tomorrow. But as far as this main line of storms, here's the GFS models. Has this out at 11 a.m. Still storms out here in the Tennessee and out into Mississippi, Alabama, and then stretching into the Atlanta area at 11 a.m. So timing's pretty accurate there as far as what the NAM 12-kilometer was showing as well. The GFS is a little more aggressive on the strength of these storms coming in towards, especially here in the Columbia and moving into the Florence area. This is bringing a little bit stronger storms, a line of stronger storms in through the state of South Carolina, and then again right here along the coast, and that would put the storms here around 8 p.m. So we're looking anywhere between 7 to 11 p.m. roughly for the impacts of any severe weather that could happen. Now, obviously, the later in the day, the more cooling we have happen here, getting into the evening hours near sunset, still can't rule out those gusty winds, hail, strong winds, and heavy rain and lightning, thunder, the normal stuff with a cold front type system. Overall, not going to be a widespread severe weather event here, but definitely no outbreak of severe weather in our area. Just another typical line of storms associated with a cold front for this time of year. So this instability is definitely going to be there. We will have the fuel, the ingredients, all to produce strong thunderstorms. However, the timing here is going to be 100% key. If this was during the normal heating of the day, I think we'd be a little bit more concerned, and I think the Storm Prediction Center would be a little bit more concerned about that severe weather risk here along the Grand Strand. But they're still holding us to that slight risk of severe weather here. That's a level 2 out of 5. So definitely a risk. We definitely want to be prepared for severe weather. Definitely not a widespread severe weather event. And as high-res models start coming out, when we get to the HRRR and those models here over the next day or so, we'll be able to dive a little bit deeper into what that might look like as far as where these cells may form and what they might look like as far as strength and intensity goes. But as of right now, the GFS is holding strong here, a little bit stronger than what the NAM 12 kilometer was looking. If we zoom out here you can see the difference here. This is this 12 kilometer NAM here. This is a little bit higher resolution, is bringing it rather significantly less chance of severe weather. Now, when you get up into the Richmond area, even Greensboro, North Carolina, those areas looking a little bit heavier according to that model. So there's still a lot of discrepancy here between model runs here, especially as these high-res models start to come out and be released. There's a lot of discrepancy there, which is unfortunate to see, but we are still a couple days out from this, so a lot can change. And if you think about this area out here, which is going to be affected tomorrow, this is the largest enhanced risk of severe weather that's happened in over 15 years out in this area. So as far as the largest area of severe weather here for the risks for tomorrow. So if you think about that, those models are still kind of not in agreement with exactly what's going to happen out there for tomorrow. So definitely don't want to rule out the fact that we could see some severe weather here. The Storm Prediction Center is definitely on top of that. We're starting to get a little bit closer to timing now, but we're still about a day or so away from those high resolution models being put out, so for us to see a little bit deeper into what that severe risk looks like. Overall, right now, I'm thinking pretty low, but not zero. Definitely a low tornado risk as well. The Storm Prediction Center does have, we'll move this off here. Get rid of them, and we'll bring up the probabilistic here. Now, starting tomorrow, we'll start seeing a lot more in the way of what things could look like as far as tornadoes, wind, and hail. Right now, they've got that probability. So we're looking, 15% probability of any kind of significant severe weather, and that includes tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail as well. So we're going to continue to monitor that over the next 24 hours, but tomorrow we'll start to be able to hone in a little bit more on what this might look like for this specific area of the United States. So we will be able to get a little bit better of an idea coming tomorrow. But what are we looking at? What is the main difference here between this storm system and the ones that we've been seeing throughout the springtime here? So what we're looking at is, let's move over to models here. If I can get rid of Facebook there. So what we're looking at here, normally we'd be looking at some big giant negatively tilted trough out here in the west, producing a lot of these storms and pulling a ton of moisture off of the Gulf down here. This time we're not really looking at that. What we're looking at this time now, and if we take this out to 700 millibar, you can see these isobars here, okay? what we're looking for on here is what's called a short wave. So we've got a little short wave here, a little short wave here, and out ahead of those short waves, um, that's where you're seeing those disturbances here. So as we move this through, you can kind of see that short wave here, another short wave, another short wave here, and that's what's producing these severe weather out along through today and tomorrow, and then out ahead of these moving into Sunday, we start to see some more of those little short waves here. So, and then out ahead of that is where we're seeing those gusty winds aloft, and that wind shear starting to happen as we go up within the atmosphere, and with that can produce severe weather, and even the threat of tornadoes, damaging hail, and damaging winds as well. So as we move into Sunday and then eventually into Monday, you can see these short waves starting to get a little bit closer to the South Carolina area, the Grand Strand. As we go throughout the day, those short waves start working their way across the state, and this is 7 a.m. in the morning on Monday, and here's a large short wave here that's looking to bring the bulk of that severe weather across out in front of these short waves here is where that severe weather is going to occur, and eventually that makes its way across the state here, and then into early morning and overnight hours Tuesday, and then eventually clears out. We are watching another system here for Wednesday. You can see bringing a significant risk of damaging winds aloft here. This is at 500 millibar for Wednesday, 116 knots. If you go to the 850 millibar winds, up here in the Ohio Valley, stretching all the way down into portions of Arkansas as well. We're watching a rather large area of severe weather risk that's already been issued. I think that's out on day 6 here. You can see, it's at day 5 now for Wednesday. So they've got 30% probability of severe weather already in place for places like Louisville, Nashville, Little Rock, Arkansas. So those areas that are correlating, let me pull this up so you can see that, correlating with those winds here, and checking out those troughs and everything on that 500 to 700 millibar map, and even the 850 millibar. So there's something we're watching, still a long way away. I think our risks for severe weather are pretty low, or if any, moving through that for that system there. That's going to track and trend a little bit further north. So I think we're going to be okay as far as any kind of weather, but we'll keep an eye on everything there as we go through the next couple days. But our main focus here is obviously going to be the threat of severe weather for us on Monday. So right now, what we're worried about here is the severe weather risk for today, or for Monday. Today, looking out areas like Oklahoma, we can pull up for today if you have friends out in these areas. We've got a slight risk of severe weather here for areas of Missouri. We've got Kansas, Oklahoma, and even into the northwestern portions of Arkansas as well. And then another slight risk here for places like Dallas, Brownwood, Cleburne, Texas, McKinney, Texas. So we have 2 possible areas of severe weather in these areas. Not looking to be a major outbreak of severe weather today. Tomorrow is the day that we're going to be watching as far as a severe weather outbreak. Now look how large this is. This is an expansive area of marginal risks or enhanced risk here for tomorrow. So very large area, including areas like Nashville up to Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Little Rock, Arkansas, stretching. And the threat doesn't end there, just in that enhanced area. You do have the slight risk down here, and then you have the marginal risk down into areas like close to New Orleans, Austin, Texas, Mobile, Alabama, the panhandle of Florida as well. So overall, tomorrow going to be a very, very active day for tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, damaging winds, and hail for tomorrow. I think the major risk here today for these areas in Oklahoma, Texas, those areas are going to be and even down into Dallas, Texas, and things. The hail damage, the hail threat is going to be pretty large there for them as well. So, we're going to keep an eye on things for tomorrow for these areas. We probably will go live with a radar stream for those of you who have friends and loved ones in these areas. We'll talk about some tornado warnings and things as the day goes on there. But if we look at models here for these areas for tomorrow, now we have those high-res models here. You can start seeing where these storms start firing off down here in Mississippi, stretching into New Orleans, and then all the way up into the Columbus, Cincinnati area, Louisville, Bowling Green throughout the day. And here comes the significant line of storms starting to work in, and that's as far out as the HRRR will take us. We can check out the NAM here and run that out and see what that looks like. But definitely going to be a significant day of severe weather tomorrow for places, even including Oklahoma City, Wichita in the overnight hours out to about 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then throughout the day, working into this area right in here. You can see those line of storms starting to fire off there. And out in front of it, you have a lot of these little pop-off supercells that are very singular. Even into the Knoxville, Atlanta, Georgia area, you can see that risk of severe weather as well, and that includes tornadoes as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that tomorrow as we move throughout the day, and then eventually this is what's going to be this is what's kind of up in the air, and this is where timing is going to come into play here for us. So let me draw that better. So this line is associated with that cold front, okay? So that cold front starts working through into Knoxville and those areas, and then eventually into South Carolina. And timing is going to be key as to what happens and what our impacts look like here in South Carolina for us. So we want to keep an eye on what's going to happen with timing as we move through the day. So we want to really, really watch what happens on Sunday. That's going to be the determining factor when these storms start firing off and how quickly they want to push to the east and how quickly this front wants to move to the east. So that's going to be the determining factor. We'll have more information on that tomorrow as we're going to get a little bit closer to seeing what's going to happen. And then eventually Sunday we will be, or Monday, we'll definitely, by the early morning hours, have a very good idea of what that severe weather is going to look like here. But pushing out till tomorrow is when we really want to keep an eye on what is happening with this particular line right here and the timing of that particular line. Right now, timing here is this is 10 a.m. on Monday. So this line here at 10 a.m. on Monday is what we really want to watch to see if there's any significant. I don't foresee there being any significant changes in the timing there, but we're going to be watching that and what actually happens here. So so 10 a.m. on Monday, we're going to have a little bit better idea as far as what that severe risk is going to look like here along the Grand Strand as we move through the evening hours here. But definitely looking anywhere from that 4 to 11 time frame right now. But tomorrow I'll have a little bit better idea of exact timing there for you guys. But overall, like I said, not looking to be a widespread severe weather outbreak here in South Carolina for the Grand Strand. But we can see a few of these little pop-up storms here working their way in off the coast here as we're pulling moisture. We're drawing moisture out of the Atlantic here and pushing north. So temperatures are going to be rising. We're going to have a very warm day, but humidity is going to be increasing as well as we go through the next 24-48 hours, and just setting us up here for that risk of severe weather, the instability. The storm fuel is going to be in place. We just need the timing to be accurate here for this line of storms as it's moving through the Nashville and into eventually Georgia, and then into the western portions of the state. So we're going to be keeping an eye on all of that here over the next 24-48 hours, and we'll have a little bit better idea tomorrow during our live tomorrow. So check back with us. I'll be posting things as new model runs come out here throughout the evening hours and overnight. We will probably be live tomorrow for our friends in Mississippi, Alabama, Nashville, Little Rock, Arkansas, Louisville, Kentucky, those areas. We will be live for tomorrow as we are watching that significant risk of severe weather for those areas, including tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, very large hail, and the potential for flash flooding in a lot of these areas, especially when you get up into Kentucky and Tennessee. Those areas could see the potential for the flash flooding. So keep your fingers crossed here for heavy rain in the Asheville and Greenville areas of western North Carolina and western South Carolina. We need the rain desperately. And we're dealing with massive wildfires out there right now, and those guys could definitely use some rain. Very dry conditions in the western portions of the state, as well as very dry conditions here. But we can use the rain here in Myrtle Beach. It doesn't look like, as far as rain totals go, we can pull that up here and see what the precipitation is going to look like here over the next several days. Let that load out here real quick. Overall, not a crazy amount of rain for us. I mean, less than 1/10 of an inch here for the Myrtle Beach area. So overall, for Carolina Forest, not great in terms of rain. That is not what we need. We need a good, heavy, soaking rain. You get out into places like Greenville, 6.53 inches. We'll take it. Asheville, 9 inches of rain. That would be freaking amazing if we could see that in those numbers. But rain totals are kind of all over the place here on this particular model run here. But we'll have a really close idea tomorrow as far as rain totals go as we get a little bit closer. But like I said, the determining factor here for what our severe weather risk is going to look like on Sunday or Monday is going to be what happens on Sunday and into the overnight hours on Sunday. How fast that line of storms wants to move and progress east, and that'll affect the timing of and the strength of the severe weather that we see here along the coast. So definitely gonna keep an eye on things. We will be back again tomorrow, probably around the same time. We'll have another live update, and in between now and tomorrow, I will be putting out posts as different model runs come out. We'll get you that information and let you guys know what's going on and keep you aware of the severe weather risk for Sunday. Just to kind of wrap things up here, we are looking for Monday. We are looking at that. Let's turn that off. So we are looking at that slight risk. This is a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather moving into the Monday time frame. Timing right now looking between 5 to 11 p.m. here roughly. We'll be able to hone in on that again tomorrow and get a little bit closer on timing for you guys as we move forward. So stay with us and check in often. If you haven't done so yet, head over to our social media pages and subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, to keep up to receive updates. Make sure if you follow us on YouTube, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell button, because when we do go live, you will get that information readily available to you, and you'll get notifications out the wazoo every time we go live from the YouTube app on your phone. So other than that, that's about all we have for you today. has been brought to you by Detailed Electrical. We love those guys over there. They've been very supportive of what we're trying to do here at Myrtle Beach Aware, and they support us every step of the way. So if you have any electrical needs, reach out to Detailed Electrical, and they'll take care of you before and after the storm. So experience confidence with or excellence in every connection. So anyway, we will see you guys tomorrow around the same time, 2:30, and we'll have another live update for what's going on Monday for us, and we will be live as well throughout the day with a radar feed for our friends in the center portions of the United States here, including areas like Little Rock, all the way up into Louisville, Cincinnati, down into New Orleans and Mississippi, Alabama, those areas for tomorrow. So we'll be live with a radar stream. So check in often on that so you can keep your loved ones informed. And please share out our content as we are live and bringing you guys this real-time data and analysis as we watch this system move east into South Carolina. So we will see you tomorrow. That is all I have for you today. You stay